work so you can play.
MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com. Welcome Wargamers to the Cheater's Guide at Tabling Your Opponent. For that little special someone that resides in each and every one of us. We all know it's true, why else do we play games? Come on. You know, for those people that say, I just play for fun, it really doesn't matter to me. They're lying! Us Wargamers, we're a special breed. When we lose a piece of our soul. And you know it's true. Step 1, play dumb. Act like you have no clue what you're doing. Explain universal special rules like no one's ever heard of them before. Step 2, list tailor. This is where the bird dog comes in. What's a bird dog, you should ask? A person who has a compromised moral compass who will help you win at all costs. What's in it for him? The satisfaction of someone getting owned, of course. For this to work properly, your bird dog has to already be in the gaming area before you and your opponent arrive. That way, it leaves no suspicion. After you invite your opponent to set up, excuse yourself from the room. This gives your bird dog a chance to scan your opponent's army. A simple text with the army specs is sufficient for list tailoring to begin. From this moment, it's pure enjoyment. You might be thinking, my job's done now. It's not that simple. There's some very important details and nuances that you gotta pay very close attention to so you can savor that full spectrum of emotions that you're gonna feel, and they're so good and enriched. Step 3, bring loaded dice. Or 3, if you're from this side of the world. This may seem obvious, but there's more to tabling than just list tailoring. Observe. Your bird dog notices that lush and full, multiple victory point list that your opponent has. Then you bring a loaded die that would make you roll for Purge the Alien, therefore rendering it a victory point condition game, and the victory is yours. Step 4, steal a page out of the Make Up a Rule and Hope Your Opponent Doesn't Know Better book. This speaks volumes to the pathologically minded. Defilers have the innate ability to conceal themselves once per game as a result from an effect called the confounding. This ability blocks all line of sight to the model, rendering him inaccessible to enemy fire. Play to your opponent's laziness. Offer to show them the Codex and read the rule for themselves. Don't believe me? Here, you can read it for yourself right here.
Okay, Dave, don't worry about it.
9 times out of 10, they won't read it out of sheer laziness. And if they do, get this, this is the kicker. They won't actually read it. They'll pretend to read it, and they'll just agree with you. This is when you say, I love my life. Step 5. Lost in the crowd. This refers to that extra 10% that you must claim as yours. What am I talking about? Dice, of course. Anything over 10 dice is hard to count at a glance, so an extra 10% your opponent won't notice. Observe. Now observe. You tell me which one had 11 dice. Step 6. Drop and switch. This is a clear-cut case of pinstriping. When rolling a bunch of dice, purposefully, accidentally, drops them on the floor, so that your opponent has to pick them up, and when he does so, switch some of the results of the dice in front of you so as to get more hits and wounds. I'd love to say this works like a charm all the time, but sometimes you get the jack sauce player who won't pick up those dice for you. If that's the case, this is where you text your trusty bird dog with a very specific code word. Guarantee it. Next time,
Oh, sorry. Come on, Jay. Really? Try to play a game here.
we'll pick up those dice for you, one way or another. Step 7, endurance. What kind of endurance? Mental endurance. This is where we forget minor rules here and there. Of course, there are optimal times to do this, such as when your opponent's eating, when he's clearing his wounded off the table, when he gets complimented on his awesome paint job.
Hey, nice model, can I see that?
Yeah, sure. And last but not least, and this is my favorite one, when he's in the bathroom. There's so much stuff happening on the table, there's no way he's gonna remember every single millimeter of action happening model-wise, ratio to whatever. He's not gonna remember. Step 8, emotional breakdown. This is where you get to gloat in his face whenever you have a victory, however minor it may be. You have full license to just make a huge deal out of it and rub it in his evil face. Pretend like it's cherry pie and just smear it in his face and just get it up his nostrils and just like in his ears and like down into his eyes. And like Step 9, apathy. This is where you pretend like any of his victories are worth nothing and they couldn't matter in the least and they don't count and whatever you may call it, they are discarded, discredited, thrown out. It kind of goes hand in hand with emotional breakdown, you know, kind of like cousins. For the 10th and final step, lights out. I know what some of you are thinking. I know. I know. This is a last resort, steal your opponent's glory at all cost move. If nothing in the game thus far has given you the upper hand, then you suffer from a condition known as the fish dice syndrome. That's right, your rolls stink. Not to worry, my poor and pathetic friend, you still have hope. Pay close attention because this is crucial. Bide your time and wait for that moment. Allow your enemy to relish in his false sense of victory. See that all-knowing, arrogant look in his eyes. Those expressions of boastful condescension. Condescension, that's what it is, not condensation, that's different. Then, at that last moment, when that very last die roll would ensure his victory, your trusty bird dog flips the lights and knocks himself into the table. There's no chance at replacing where those models were exactly. There's no chance at redemption. There's no mercy, there's no take-backs, there's no nothing. And after the lights come back on, this is where your bird dog digs in so deep, he never thought he could do such a good job. He says those magic words.
Good game. It kind of looked like he was winning anyway.
He wasn't going to win.
It looked to me like he was winning.
I know I was winning. There's a trick to tell when I'm winning.
Yeah.
It's when I'm playing.
But it looked like he was winning.
It may look like that, but
Yeah.
it was part of the plan.
Oh. Did kind of look like he was winning though. I bet my life that he was winning.
Just look at that face. Okay, that's the face that you want. That's the Facebook shot right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good game. What more can I say? Leave a comment below as to what you think step 11 should be in the Cheater's Guide at tabling your opponent.